one of my jobs on the road was to, and every town we stopped in, every city we played in, I would call during the day, I would call the local Warner Brothers reps. Make sure the right people were on the list, and when they came to the show, I'd make sure that they were comfortable, had everything they needed, and it was just PR work, And I remember the first show they didn't show up. And I thought that was unusual, but I figured, well, maybe they got busy or something. And then they stopped showing up for like 3 shows in a row, and I knew then there was something going on.
We still don't really know what happened with Parallels, with the marketing of it. There's a lot of label politics going around between Metal Blade and Warner Brothers Reprise. At some point we thought we were going to move over to Warner Brothers, and something happened either between Metal Blade and Warner Brothers, or Warner Brothers just decided that we weren't the right project for them at that time. But once they decided that, for whatever reason, all the support was pulled from the band at that point, and we were just kind of left high and dry.
They just pulled the plug on it in the middle of everything, and that was very disheartening, and none of us really knew what to do at that point, and we were really upset. We'd been doing it for a long time already, and to feel all this success and to have it just yanked out from under you was really bad.
But when that marketing and promotion was pulled, that there it goes, and then radio stops playing it, MTV stops playing it. You just lose all that momentum.
I thought we were poised basically to move on to a larger label, and the way things turned out, when a label's going to take a band and move it from one level to a higher level, obviously there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money required to push it on to the next level. Obviously we didn't get pushed on to the next level, which was obviously very, very, very disappointing for the band. The band thought we had done what we needed to do. We had hit songs on that record that were launched and ready to go.
We really had high hopes for this record. We really did. Going into it, and then after we had the finished product, we thought it was the best record that we had done. We were really happy with the final outcome, and I don't know, maybe was that when grunge was coming out and all that?
And it was really frustrating for us because we had built up a lot of support and a lot of anticipation with this record, and felt we were at a point where it was ready to break fairly big. We were told that by just everybody in the industry that this is going to be it, and it seemed like it was ready to happen, and then just in a matter of weeks the whole thing fell apart, and we were just back to doing nothing, literally nothing, no prospects. The record was over at that point.
I think people look back on things and kind of stress, well, why didn't that record sell 2 million or 3 million or 1 million or whatever. And for a band like Fates, especially, Parallels got to a certain point, and then they kind of just stayed at that point, and why? Who knows? It's hard to really tell or say. But certainly I think what Fates did is they were a progressive metal band, and back when there weren't a lot of really progressive metal bands, prior to Dream Theater. So just like any band that starts something, starts a scene or a movement, usually the beginning band never gets all the credit, and the band that come after them do. For example, with this genre, obviously Dream Theater came after Fates Warning, kind of broke that door wide open and became the preeminent metal progressive band. And Fates Warning never got to that level, but they were the ones that really took the chances, broke down the barriers. They did things that bands before them didn't do. They took risks. And when you take those kind of risks and you're not in the norm, so to speak, it's difficult to get that kind of commercial success, especially when you're doing something first. And when you look back at Parallels and all the stuff they did before that, No Exit and Awaken the Guard, all that stuff. Very progressive metal band doing something a lot different. And all those records, to me, have stood the test of time more than 95% of the records you would listen to back in the 80s. So maybe they didn't sell as many copies as some of that stuff did, but what their influences were and what they did for the scene and the metal scene, to this day, 20 some odd years later, still resonate, and they were an extremely important part of not only the progressive metal scene, but just the heavy metal scene in general in the 1980s.